We are going to be rushing through this today. We are going to be rushing through this. I hope we are all together. We're going to be rushing through this morning. So what we are going to be using this morning, like we did yesterday, is the exact same thing you are going to be feeling online. So this is supposed to guide you so that now every information we are going to be working on here is what should be in your final business plan. So everything we are going to be working on right now is what should be in your final business plan. We have less than 2 hours to run through this. So I'm going to try to be as fast as possible. So first we start with your personal details, your surname, other names. So when we say your surname, other names, the way you write your name should be the same way it appears in a formal identification card that you have. So for example, if your driver's license has your surname as John, other names as BC Akonde, it should follow the same format, please, because we are still going to request for your ID card information. So it should align. So don't just don't just write the name like your name is John, though your ID card says BC Akonde, you decide to write Akonde BC to avoid issues. Next is your age range. When you are filling online, it's going to give you a range, usually 5'5". So you pick your age range, you pick your date of birth, your gender, male or female, your state of origin, your home address. So your home address is where you stay. So your home address could be different from your state of origin. Then your state of residence. So state of residence is where you live. The assumption is your state of residence and the place where your business should be the same. Then your email address, a functional email address. I would propose that you use the email address you've already used in registration with now. Then a functional phone number, So because remember, during the interview phase, they will need to reach out to you. So a functional phone number. If you have your papers with you, you can start filling. If you have any questions, you can just ask. Then your personal bank name. This is not your company account now. This is your personal bank account. So this is not your company bank account, but your personal bank account and your personal account number. It would also request for your BVN. Now, the reason for this is simple, because in the next page, we are going to be looking at your business info. And you know the new rule that just came out is, if you borrow money, whether you borrow it as a business or something, and you are not able to pay back, the banks will take out the money from your personal bank account or any account connected to you via your BVN. So that will be requested. Next is your business name. We talked about that yesterday. So there is a name. You need to include your business name, your business email address, your business website, your business address. If your house address and your business address are the same thing, then that is what should appear here. I remember that yesterday I explained that it is possible for those of us that have a business name or a company name, it is possible that the address you used in registering your business is not where your business is operating from. So the business address should be where your business is operating from. I hope that makes sense. Sorry, Madam Patricia, just check it's uploaded already. You can download. You can download easily, please. Then your business phone number, your business bank name, your business bank account. I said yesterday, if you are using your personal account, you don't have a business name yet, or you don't have a business account yet, and you are one of those that decide, okay, I'm still using a personal bank account for my business, then dedicate an account strictly for business, so that it is easy to have a proper track record. Then your business bank name, your business bank account, then your business status. We talked about first, what sector does your business belong to? You should know that by now. The activities you carry out, we said that yesterday, the stage of your business, Are you an early startup? Are you a startup? What stage are you in? Next is your business activity. Okay, we've talked about that. Your ownership type. Are you a sole proprietor? Are you limited? Are you a cooperative? What's it called? Society? Then years in operation. I'm rushing through. Then other information we talked about, you should have a business, your vision statement. You must have a mission statement. You must have a value proposition. So your value proposition is the extra that the customer gets from you without paying for it directly, meaning what extra does your customer get for being your customer? Then your business description, describe your business, let us understand. I think we spent enough time on that yesterday. Then your business objective, we spent time on that yesterday. Now, next is we need to know what equipment do you need? What equipment do you need? So, no, yeah, the financial template is there, Madam Patricia. So also is the business, the plan, the diversity template. They are both here. So next, I was talking about what equipment do you need? So you need to tell us so the serial number is number 1, number 2, number 3. Describe the equipment. If it's an equipment that has model, the usage, what will it be used for? How many of them do you need? The quantity. What is the unit price? So quickly, I am going to run through a list of things that, okay, maybe when we come to working capital, we'll take more time here. So what equipment do you need? Because you are applying for loan. And remember, the NISA prof explained to us that we expect that the money that you are going to use for equipment will not be coming to you directly. It's going to be sent to the vendor. So there is a need for you to properly list out the equipment that part of the money you are collecting for loan will be used to purchase. So for example, do you need to buy a dryer? The woman that is an hairdresser, do you need to buy an hair drying machine? Then we need to know, describe it, what model of hair drying machine, because we understand that there are different models and they cost different amount. What is that machine used for? So you tell us the usage. How many of the machines do you need? What is the unit price of that machine? Once you do that, what is the total? Then that makes any sense. So from here, we want to know how much of the funds that you need is going for equipment. How much of the funds that you need will be used on equipment. So in your business plan, because you want to show that you want to, now remember that this is a business plan basically for money. You want to use it to borrow some money. So we need to know what equipment do you need. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So next is your working capital. So we understand that you might not need all the money to buy equipment. You might need the money for your everyday work, for your everyday activity. Now, under working capital, there are categories that are available. So I'm going to try to read out some of the categories. Now, what this means in essence is, from NISA's point of view, if your working capital does not fall under this category, then you should not borrow money for it. I say that again. Your working capital list, there are categories where your working capital falls into. So number 1 is rent. You may want to pay for rent, so describe it. So under category, you'll be able to pick rent. So under quantity, probably you are paying for 4 months, you are paying for 6 months, or you are paying for 3 months. Then what is the amount? What is the amount? So that is 1. Number 2 is lease. So the difference between rent and lease is lease are usually long-term, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You are leasing a property. You are leasing an equipment. But rent are usually short-term, 1, 2 years and below. So if it is lease, describe the lease. So for example, you want to go into fish farming and you are thinking of, oh, there are people that already have ponds and you need to lease their ponds. then in that case, you need to tell us, okay, this is the description, the category is list, the quantity, and the amount. I hope that makes sense. Next is salary. So salaries also falls under working capital. So for example, you have 10 staff, 2 staff, 3 staff that are working with you. So on that category, we are still going to come under this and explain more in the future. The category, how we classify staff, the quantity, and the amount. Next, raw materials. So you realize that raw materials are different from equipment. So for example, you are a fish farmer, you need to buy feed. You are a carpenter, you need to buy wood. So these are raw materials that you need to work with. Another one is insurance. So for example, you have to do insurance for your business. It falls under working capital. Another one is renovation and civil work. So you have gotten a property, but you need to do a little bit of renovation. You're a greenhouse farmer, you need to renovate your greenhouses. You're a pharmacist, you need to renovate your shop and all of that. It's under working capital. Then there is maintenance. So maintenance is you have the equipment or you're even buying the equipment new, but you know that every 3 months you need to service that equipment. That money falls under working capital. Utility bills. You have to pay NEPA bill, you have to pay water bill, you have to pay train away your dustbin. All of these falls under utility bill. Then there is cost of feed. So you have goats to feed, fishes to feed, poultry farmer, you have your birds to feed. Cost of feed is different. Then there is vaccination and medication, different. There is equipment rental, it's different. So these are all under working capital. Sorry, you said the file I'm showing is different from, there are 2 files there, Madam Patricia. Please check. There are 2 files there. One is a Word document. I am using the Word document first. After we are done with the Word document, before we move on to the Excel document. So this is the Word document I am working with. I'm on page 4 now. So I stopped at vaccination and medication. Then there is equipment rental. So if you are renting an equipment, it is different from an equipment you are buying. So don't mix them up. So for example, you might have a place where you go and rent a van to move your things once in a month. You are not buying, so that's different. Then still other working capital, there is borehole. The price of borehole. So you need to do a borehole on your facility. Then there are some other accessories that you know, okay, these are not things that are like big equipment, but you buy them part-time, pH meter and stuff like that. Then there is repair. So you already have a facility, but you need to repair. You put them under working capital. If you have any questions, please ask. Next is product and services. I'm not sure why who wrote on the screen. Next is product and services. So you should be able to describe, we said this yesterday, describe your product properly. The line type, is it service or is it product, what you are doing? Then what category does it belong to? Your cost, sales, and total. All of these must be captured. Next is your assets. Next is your asset. Now, this is very important. We want to know, what do you already have available? Madam Miriam, you cannot find it to download. It's available. Go to your course page, please. When you get to your course page, like Mr. Miracle explained, on your course page, go to day 3. When you get to day 3, you are going to see under business, the business class, as the 10 o'clock class, you will see the 2 files there. You can easily download it. So next is the asset list. You need to tell us the assets that you have. So for example, for Madam Patricia that is already a pharmacist for 5 years, what are the assets that you have already? Only state what you have. Do not state what you intend to have. State what you have, because at the end of the day, if they are going to come to check anything, if the now site is under maintenance and is unavailable, please, Mr. Miracle, help with that. I'm not sure. Now, if they are going to cross-check to see whether or not you are lying, they are going to use the assets that you listed to determine whether or not those things are available. So the asset name, how much did you buy the assets? If it's a building, how much was the worth when you built it? What was the year of purchase? What is the lifespan? So the reason why this is important is we want to be able to figure out that this asset that you have, is it something that is germane, that is fundamental to the productivity or the functionality of what you do? If yes, how many years does this thing have before it goes out of use? Now, based on that, we want to look at how many months or years are you requesting for your loan? Will this asset be able to serve you through that period? If no, does it require maintenance or a total overhaul? So let me give an example. Let's imagine that here you have quoted a tractor, you need a tractor. However, you have an asset already that is a tractor. Now, if we realize that, oh, the tractor that this person has is actually pretty old, it means that there is a strong case why you should get a new tractor. Just an example. Then, what is the asset type? What is your asset type? Then the value. So what is the current valuation? The purchase price was then. What is the current? Now, to get your current valuation, imagine if you were to buy that tractor or that asset from you. Imagine a friend had that asset and you needed to buy it. Next, management plan. So management plan, we want to know the people that will be helping you manage your business, run your business. It's very important. So the line type, the full name, their responsibility, their stake, meaning are they founders, co-founders, partners, or are they just ordinary staff? Allowance, how much startup, how much do you intend to pay them? How much do you intend to pay them if you are a startup? It needs to be stated because we are going to use all of these later in a bit. Now, next is other loan information. Do you have any other loan currently running? You've collected loan before from any other organization. Now, let me state this clearly. The loans we are concerned about is any loan that we can prove with your BVN number. So if, for example, you do, what is this thing called? In Yoruba, they call it ajo. Like when you have like group of friends or colleagues that you contribute 50 naira and you bring your money cash and you collected that money, you borrowed from that kind of ajo, not that it was through your bank, then not needed here. But if you have any loan running that you have borrowed from any bank, any financial organization, anywhere that you know there is a loan running, when did that loan start? How many months of repayment did you say? So for example, you borrowed that money in January 2019, and you told them you are going to finish payment by December 2020. So the month of repayment is 24 months. You state it. Next is, what is the interest rate? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? You state it. What is the moratorium you were given from the loan? So moratorium is, if I borrow money, this is July. If I borrow money in July, and I tell the person I am going to pay you back in December next year, by December next year. However, the person says, don't worry, I am going to start counting the loan from January. So it means between now and December this year, I have borrowed the money, but it has not started counting until January. that they will start counting the interest and all of that till December that I start paying back. So between now and December is my moratorium. Now, there are some places where you borrow money, it starts counting from the day the money hits your account. It means moratorium is 0. Next, you are going to give a reference because you want to borrow money, the reference name, the reference address, the reference phone number. Very important. Their name, their address, their phone number. So you are going to provide 2 references, not just 1, 2 references. Any questions so far? I hope I'm not too fast.
No question yet. You've been attending to the questions as you were, so none yet.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Then, oh, sorry. This is supposed to be your current loan information. I missed it up. There is previous loan information. Sorry. Current loan information is the loan you want to collect now. When do you want it to start? How many months are you going to use for repayment? Interest rates, don't worry, to be filled automatically to 5. Moratorium by default is 6 months. So previous loan information is the one you collected before. Sorry, that was my error. The one you collected before, what is the name of the institution? If in your case you've borrowed from like 10 institutions, then quote all the 10. How much you borrowed, the interest rate, and when it will end. I say that again. Your previous loan information, if you've borrowed from more than one organization, state them differently. Don't clump them together. The loan amount, interest rate, and the termination date, meaning when you are going to finish paying up. Then next is your SWOT analysis. What is the strength of your business? What is the strength of your business? That's very important. We need to know what makes your business unique. What is the value you are providing? Because, for example, remember, you are not the only person doing that. You are most likely not the only person doing the kind of business that you are doing that you want to borrow money from. So you want to borrow money to do hairdressing. You are most likely not the only person that will be borrowing money for hairdressing in Nigeria. So what is your strength? Why should you be the person to get the money? Why should we trust that funding your business is better than funding another person that also wants to do hairdressing? What is the strength? 2, what is the weakness? So the weakness is, what do your competitors have that you don't have that could be an edge over you? Or what is the thing that you know you should have, but you do not have yet, that you know, okay, this could make it be a weakness or could make it be like a shortcoming? State the weakness. Again, like we said yesterday, you don't have to state 5 points. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3. Next is, what are the opportunities that you see in your business? Take, for instance, as an hairdresser, the opportunities that you see. Do you see hairdressing salon on wheels? Meaning having a van that the hairdressing salon is inside. So if the person says, I want to make my hair in Kuje, you drive to the person's house, the person enters the van, you make their hair, you are done. The person comes down, so your salon becomes mobile salon. What opportunities are you seeing? Next is, what are the threats to your business that you see? Like I said yesterday, if you are not able to identify the threats and weakness of your business, it's a pointer that you do not understand your business well. You must know where the weaknesses are. You must know the threats to your business. So you have to state that. Next is your product and service. Like we said yesterday, your product and service. So your product is, what is it, a product that you are doing, or are you having a service? Are you having a product or a service? You need to know. What is your monthly production capacity? Because remember, you are saying, oh, for example, I want to lend 7 million naira and I am going to pay back after 12 months or after 24 months. We need to understand the volume that you have presently so that we can accurately determine whether or not you can actually pay back the money you are asking for. We need to know what is the history of this, your business. For those of us that have been in business for a while, we want to know what is the traction of your business. Now, for someone that is an early startup, we need to also get to figure out how much work have you done. We need to be able to figure out how much work have you done, so that we know how much, background work have you done to know the kind of market available for your business. So for example, you cannot say, because I am a startup, I cannot predict the volume I will be doing. Now, you cannot just put in a figure, especially for startup. You cannot say, for example, I am a startup and I want to start selling rice. I want to start selling raw rice in Abuja. And as a startup, you say that for the first month, you are going to sell 100 bags of rice. The question is how? Is it because if you say 100 bags of rice in the first month, we are going to go back and look at your strength. Did your strength say that you are the only rice seller in a population of 2,000 people or 5,000 people? Or did you say in your strength that you are the only supplier to a, what's it called, a school or a university? So everybody that is in that university buys rice from you. Because what you write here, we cannot find the validity of your capacity in your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and traits, it means that these figures cannot be trusted. That's the way we look at business plan. So it's not enough to just write things here. We will look at the things that precede it to see, oh, does this actually make sense in business? Next is your cost price. How much does it cost you? Your sales price, how much are you selling? What percentage of this money did you spend directly on labor? So what percentage of your cost price is on labor? What percentage of your cost price is spent on materials? Then we then look at your gross margin, because your profitability for us is dependent on your gross margin at the end of the day. And whether or not you can pay back is when we look at your gross margin. Next, we do what we call competition analysis. I explained that yesterday, but for the Greek people, we talked about the fact that you need to know who your real competitors are. We said there are 3 types of competitions yesterday. We said there is the competitor, you having the same products, but different customers, having the same customers, but different products, then having the same customer and the same products. So the competitions we are concerned about are those that have same customer and same products. Same customers and same products. So we said your product name, the competition product or service, so it has to be the same. So don't be telling us you are selling rice and the person that is your competitor is selling yam. Yes, you are both selling, but co-work, you should be in the same area. What is the organization's name? How much are they selling? How much are you selling? How much are they selling? So are you selling for 200 and they are selling for 250? Or are you selling for 200 and they are selling for 150? What is your company's location? The location of your company, and then the price difference. All of these must be stated. Next is your asset list. I think we've talked about this before, your asset list. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Management plan, we've talked about this. Now, next is your financial model. Any questions so far? Any question?
Yes, please. Someone said, please, what do you mean by reference for loan? That was from Lots. What do you mean by reference for loan?
Thank you. So when you want to borrow money, there is somebody that has to stand in the gap. More like, I don't use the word collateral, but it's the reference, which means if you don't pay, their account and everything about them is on the line for you. It's more or less as I explained that I want to borrow money from you, and you are asking me who will stand in as a referee to say that I know Samson will pay this money. So you need two people that are willing to stand in as referees to stand in the gap for you.
Okay, we also have Patricia Anele. She asked the moratorium of this loan, how many months, please? That you should
6 months. Federal government says 6 months. It's 6 months.
I think that's all the question we have for now.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, someone has sent one now. What if one borrowed from instant online loan? What if someone borrowed from instant online loan? Okay, are we going to list them out?
Yeah, the instant online loan, is it connected to your BVN? If yes, list it. Because if you don't list it, when they are going through, they are going to see it. And once they see it, you have lied, so you are disqualified. This is the way to look at it. If it can be proven through your BVN, let's take, for example, the person that even gave you the money, took the money and went to your account to pay it in. But when paying it in, the person wrote loan. It can be proven that you've collected loan. I don't know if that makes any sense. But if it's something given to you cash and you're paying back cash, then it can be proven.
Okay. Okay, this one, I think we can attend to this internally. This person is asking, the person said yesterday he was all through in aquaculture, and how will he get your lecture so as to be abreast of?
It's online. I think you check yesterday's lecture under MSME. I think it should be there.
So please go, Mr. Anthony Akubo, go to the platform, like Miracle said earlier. You see where you go and check the video.
Okay, somebody said I should stop skipping. Okay, I will go back and just discuss one or two that I skipped. How many years does the loan last? The maximum, I think, is 5 years. And I think Prof said you can get up to, I think, 7 years or so, but those are other special circumstances. So normal is 5 years. Normal, so that 5 years, so when you add the moratorium, it becomes 5 years and 6 months. But when you are requesting, you request for the number of years you want. They automatically add the moratorium for you. So let me see the ones I skipped for people that are asking. I explained this. So I think I explained this. The other one did I skip? I described all of this. So we'll go to your financials now. Okay. So please, I want to assume we've all downloaded the financials.
Okay, there's another question. Please, this from Zachary Garba. He said, please, what is the interest on the loan?
5.
I guess this loan.
Is this loan is 5? Don't worry, you see it on the financials. Now, once you download the financials, you are going to see a screen like this. Sorry, I'm trying to. You once applied for loan with your BVN, but it hasn't been given to me. So is there, now if it has not been given, then you don't have it yet. You don't have it yet. Is the loan you have been, okay, if it has been approved but not given, you will still state it. But if it has not been approved, you know, there's everything it has been approved but not disbursed. But if it has been approved but you're waiting disbursement, it means that the money is going to come. All things being equal, then you state it and state when it will start reading and all of that.
Okay, somebody asked, before Shakiru, somebody said, do they give loan to pharmacists?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do. They do.
You can take Shakiru's question. Shakiru said, okay, how would he download the financials?
I think the site is down now from what Mr. Miracle explained earlier, but once it's up, tell us.
Yeah, it's up. Miracle said they can go online now, that the site is up
now. So please go to your course page. On the course page, you will see it there. On the course page, go to day 3, under day 3. Okay, go through MSME, go to day 3. You will see under business plan. That's the class we are having now. You will see the the Word document and the Excel document. So the Excel document is this one. So download the Excel and the Word document so that you can fill it.
Okay, we have Famuyide Oluwaseyi. He said, under working capital, you mentioned that feed is listed under material, and later feed is also included in cost of feed. My question is, what are we going to treat feed? Okay,
Sorry,
are we
that's my
treat
error.
feed?
Feed should be under cost of feed. Is a category on its own.
Okay.
That was my error. That was my error. All right, you've downloaded it, Patricia. Okay. Abdullahi Al Hassan, what was your question, Abdullahi Al Hassan? I have once applied for loan with my, I think I've answered that.
Yes, you have answered it.
I said, if you applied for a loan with your BVN and the loan has not been given to you, meaning they have not even approved the loan, you applied, they've not approved, then you will not quote it. It's not a loan you are paying back. If the loan has been approved, although you have not gotten the money, then you state it. We are talking about loan that was approved or loan that you already have the money. If you apply, you were not given, you are not stating it, you are not owing money. We just want to figure out, are you owing anybody money? If yes, how much? How long will it take you to pay back? Because if you are paying somebody else, if you have loan that is already active, that you are trying to pay back, and you want to collect another loan, it means that you will be servicing two loans. So we need to be sure that your business has that capacity to service both loans and still remain afloat and profitable, obviously. Okay. So when you open the document, yep, any other question? None, okay.
No other question.
Okay, when you open the document, at the bottom of the document, you will see instruction, so you can follow the cursor, instruction, assumption, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. Sorry, my screen stuff is up. Sorry. Cash flow, summary, then glossary. So I'll explain that your glossary is just to help you define some terms that you may have issues with. So even if I'm too fast, you can always come back and check. How can I download the app? I'm not sure which app you are referring to, Mr. Mohammed. I'm not sure which app. If you're talking about this document, go to your page, your course page, you will see it there. So the summary, now this is the good news. All of these things will be filled up for you automatically if you follow what we want to do. This is where we are going to judge the profitability of your business in 10 years' time. Whether your business is going to grow or not 10 years from now, we are going to also be able to judge your cash flow. We want to see how money comes in, your balance sheet. We will see all of these, your income statements. Let me maximize. Then your assumptions. So we are going to be working on the assumptions, but before we start, there are some basic instructions. Here you are going to fill in your name. Next, your company name. So your company name, like we said before, is if you have a registered business name that you use in applying, then fill it in here. Somebody said the document is not opening on your phone. If your phone is not enabled to open Word documents, it will not open. It will just download but not open. That was why we suggested use a computer, because I am not sure there is a way you can even fill all of this info on the phone. I'm not sure. Then your training ID is the ID you get after payment. So your training ID is the ID you get after payment. Okay, so we go to the assumptions. This is where we are going to be working. Trying to move this so that we can work. Okay. Now, I am going to be using an example so that we can follow together. I'm going to be using, maybe let's use 2 examples. Anybody want to say what they do so that we can use 2 examples to fill together? Anybody want to type out what they do? You want to type out what you do? Anybody? I'm waiting. Fashion designer. Okay, who else? Fish farm. So let's use two. Fish farm, and you don't do, I won't finish the whole page. So now, first is the business country. Number one, I want to assume everybody applying is in Nigeria. So by default, once you open the document, it feels Nigeria. Business currency. Because you have picked Nigeria, it will automatically pick Naira. So if you pick a different country, it will automatically pick the, where's the word now? The currency of that country. Now, business, product, or service. What if you borrow the loan from your personal account and not company account? Will it be stated? Yes. Your BVN is linked. See, you know, we said this yesterday. If, for example, how do I explain this to make sense? If, for example, okay, I have a company and my company now has like has like 10 Naira in the account, and I go and borrow 20 Naira somewhere, you know, the reality is if the person that I am owing starts dragging me, the human nature is to find a way to collect money from company to pay back. So as the owner of the company, if it is your staff that borrowed money, staff cannot access your account. But if it is the founder, co-founder, sub-founder, among the owners of the company that are owing money, we want to know. Because these are the likely risk factors. I don't know if that answers your question, Mr. Adamu. So let's take two. So now remember, here they are giving you opportunities of just picking 3 services or 3 products. So the person that is selling, that said fish, so nobody will say I was partial, fish and fashion. So let's say fish. So what kind of fish? Let's say smoked. I'm not sure which kind of fish, whether it's smoked fish you do, but let me write smoked fish. So I have filled product 1. Service, I don't know who you sew for, the fashion lady, I don't know who you sew for. Let me write ladies wears, between 25, ladies office wears. Or let's look for something a bit more exotic, dinner wears. So notice that I tried to specify the service properly. I did not just write ladies wears. I want them to understand what my particular niche is. So I am using 2 types, but ladies wears is also a product. I want somebody that is on that service. I need somebody that does something on that service, so I will not have 2 products. Anybody on that service collecting loan, that what you do is a service. I'm waiting. Anybody on that service? Pharmacy, chemistry, that's still products. Anybody on that service? Hairdressing salon. Let's use hairdressing salon because you perform a service. I am doing this so that we can have the 2 people represented. So let's think of what service do you do, ma? Hairdressing. This is how do. What do they do in hairdressing? What kind of?
You yes, can do braids, not okay, braids.
Braids.
Yeah, okay, washing and setting, things. Yeah.
Okay, let's do washing and setting. Washing and setting of female hairs. So that's my service. Now I want you to notice that I took time to explain it well, because remember, anybody that is picking it up first does not need to call me to understand my business. If I need to call you to understand your business from your business plan, it means your business plan was not properly done. Now, take note of some beautiful things that are automatically written. The percentages are already there. Your tax is 5%. Your bank interest rates, your inflation rate, these ones have already been stated for you. Leave them as it is. Now, we are done with the general. Now, let's go to your growth rate. Now, notice what has happened. Because I have stated smoked fish, okay, let me use the cursor. Because I have stated smoked fish, Smoked fish has appeared already because I have already stated smoked fish. I stated washing and setting of female hairs. It has come up automatically. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, let me add a third one. Somebody wrote school. Let me write nursery school. Nursery school. I think nursery is nursery 1 to 3. Nursery school for ages 1. No, I don't know what age that is. So let me write for levels 1 to 3. I think nursery 1, nursery 2, nursery 3, I hope I'm right. So let's put 3 there. So you see, automatically filled in. Next is, what is my sales volume? So the people that we are answering, how many goods do you sell? What is the volume per year? What is your sales volume? So for example, if you have been in business a while, what has been your average sales volume in a year? What has been your average sales volume in a year? The mommy that is washing hair, how many washing and setting do you do in a year? Nursery school of 1, 2, 3. What are the total number of students? When we equate them, how many would you say they are? Does that make any sense? Any question, any confusion? If you have questions, just post them. So for example, let's say, remember we are doing assumptions. If we assume that the man doing smoked fish sells approximately 2,000 kilograms of fishes per year, an assumption, the woman doing washing and setting, let's say in a week, you attend to 70 people, washing of hair and setting alone. I'm trying to open my calculator to do the math. So in a week, you attend to 70 people. So we would assume that in a year, if it has 53 weeks, you attend to 3,710 people. This is the assumption. Sales volume. Now, sales volume, how many, where's the word? What will a startup state as sales volume? Good question. That is why you should have done your groundwork. You should know what is the likely number of things I can sell. I want to open salon in Okokomaiko, Lagos, in a street called Baragbara. How many hairs am I likely to wash and set in a week? That is why you need to do market survey. You need to be able to predict the future. What if you are a new business? How do you know the volume? That's what I'm explaining. You need to be able to predict. You cannot just say, let me look for an example. Why are you starting the business if you don't know whether or not you will say? Yes, the sales volume is for a year. You need to be able to predict for a year. Give us a baseline. You need to be able to predict for a year. So for a school, I think typical nursery schools have less than 20, 30 students. So if we have 20 students, they are going to be there for a year. So we'll multiply that by KG1, KG2, KG3, okay, let's say 25 students. So it means in a year, you have 75 students as sales volume. Now, let's look at sales price, the total amount you will make in a year. I am not sure how much. I think smoked fish goes for like 800, 900. So let's say 2,000 times 900. So this is 1.8 M. Did I put that way? Is that 1.8 million? Yes. Now, for the washing and setting, I don't know how much they use for washing and setting. Is it up to 500 Naira? I don't know. Any female can help me out if my... So let's assume 500 Naira. People are rich, 1855000. Then school fees for each child in a year, depending on the school. Let's assume the school is the average type where they pay 150,000. Wow. You're now school, you are rich, 11 to 50, 1 to 3. So we have put in an approximate price. So Yes, sales volume is on yearly basis. I think I've answered that. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to move this. Okay. Now, notice that we have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 to year 10. As a business owner, what is the man that wrote fish, what is the percentage increase you think you are going to have now your baseline is when you were doing like your own internal study. In the next 1 year, what is the percentage increase you think you are going to have in your sales volume? Is it going to be 0%? So the question is looking at, is the price, is it multiplied by what? No. Now, how I got the price, let me explain that again. I'm not sure what the price I used here. You know, we say your sales volume, the total volume of what you will sell is 2,000 when it comes to fishes. We said the total volume of what you will sell is 2,000. You know, now let's assume we are saying 2,000 kilograms of fishes. You know how much you sell each kilogram of fish. So if I am selling each kilogram of fish for 800, 900, 2,000 naira per kilogram, I multiply the price of each kilogram of fish by the total quantity of what I will sell. Does that make sense? Sales volume for washing and setting, the lady that is doing washing and setting has already said, oh, in a week, I will attend to about 70 customers. And I am charging them 500 naira per customer. So 500 naira times 3,710. For the person in nursery school that owns KG 1, 2, 3, for the person that owns KG 1, 2, 3, you have 75 students, 25 in KG 1, 25 in KG 2, 25 in KG 3. Now, you have already told yourself you charge each student 150,000 naira per session. Now, when I say per, I don't know if it's per session or per time, but let's assume 150,000 naira for the whole year, an assumption. So if you are charging 150,000 naira for the whole year, it means 150,000 naira times 75 students. I don't know if I've answered that question. Then for training ID, I said when you did your registration, if you go to instruction, here, there is a place to put in your training ID. If you do, during your registration, now would have sent you a specific unique ID that is your own. That is what you put here. And that answers the question. That's what I said about that. So we are back here. Now we are going to have to do a prediction. What is my sales volume going to be like? Is my sales volume going to remain the same? Or is it going to increase year after year? So for the fish seller, now, if I say my sales volume is going to increase by 10%, 20%, the first thing I will do as the person reading your business plan to see if what you are asking for is worth it, I will go and look at the opportunities you listed, because the growth of your business is dependent on the strength and the opportunities that you see for your business. Can you see how we are using SWOT analysis to determine your figures? So the growth of your business must align with the opportunities and strengths that you listed. So you cannot be telling us now that your business after 1 year, because if, for example, I write 100% here in year 1, what I am saying is after 1 year, I am going to be selling 4,000 kilograms. So that will make me run to your, what's the word now? Run to your opportunities and strength listed to see how did it jump. Is there a miracle somewhere we need to be aware about and tap into? I hope that makes sense. So let's assume this man says, well, next year there will be a growth of 2%, 2%, year 3, because I have done this for 2 years straight, 1%, then 2% again, 2%, then 1. There are formulas for all of these things for accurately calculating. How do we calculate? You look at 1, the level of immigration, and immigration meaning influx of people to where you are and movement of people from where you are. So if, for example, this man selling fish, we want to look at how are you selling the fishes. If you are selling B2C, that's business to consumers directly, what is the population of consumers around you? What is the possibility that other people will not wake up tomorrow and start doing fish business? The people you are selling to, are they hotels? If they are hotels, do you have a long-term agreement? So for example, let's imagine this man is selling to hotel, and them and the hotel have agreed a 4-year price. So it means that the percentage increase may not be so much for the first 4 years. Then let's say after that, there is a 2% for another 4 years. Then after that, they agree an increase in price for another 3 years. So your customer base matters a lot. For the woman doing washing and setting, I mean, if you are in salon, I think it's easier. The question is, how much were they collecting for washing and setting last year? How much are they collecting this year? So you can easily predict, will my price go up? 2, what are the things people look at to pay more? They look at the beauty of the salon. So the question is, if I am not touching up my salon year after year to look elegant, there is a high probability that my price will not jump up. 2, if I have a salon in an estate where they say there can be only one salon, it means that the probability of me having competitors will be reduced. Now, I can now use that to calculate my sales volume. Oh, I have looked at my estate that majority of the people that are here right now, they are around the ages of 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Now, the first year, it may be 1%, now 1%, 1%. However, as the years continue to increase, that 7, 8, 9, 10 years old lady is now 14, 15, 16, now ready to enter into salon to start making her hair. So I am already looking at a market-based building. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. So you must be able to look at the parameters that affect your business. You must be able to look at the parameters that affect your business to know how it would increase and how your price would either increase or decrease. Finally, from the examples we are using, your nursery school for levels 1, 2, 3. So for your nursery school, for example, what is the capacity of your school already? Because you cannot just simply tell us that in a class of 25, by next year, you are going to have a 20% increase. It won't work because you are limited already by the space that is available. So we need to know what is the percentage increase, or are you saying you are just going to keep the same volume of students, always 75? So when KG3 pass and go, the next student that must come in must be 25. What happens when there is a dropout? Does that mean you will have students in the waiting list to refill? So you use that to fill up. So for the sake of, let's just make this 1, 1. So for hotels, for example, you need to know, are we increasing number of people lodging in the hotel to have growth, or are we adding more opportunities for people to come and do parties? Now for school fees, yes, your school fees can increase. Maybe every 2 years, you increase it by 2%. The next year, you increase by 3%. Then in the 7th year, you went to 4%. In the 5th year, you went to, or in the 9th and 10th year, you went to 5%. You are done with that. Next is your direct cost. Now, your direct cost, like I explained yesterday, is what is the direct cost incurred in trying to do that business that you are doing. Now, remember that yesterday I said something. You cannot apply for a loan that are in different sectors. You should not be applying for a loan that are in different sectors, because realize that when it comes to direct cost, everything has been cramped together. We have packed everything together to get the direct cost for all the 3. Now, because these sectors are in 3 different places, it becomes really hard to bring them all in. But just for an assumption, I can't remember how much we put for, I think for dried fish, I'm not sure if it was 900, was it 900 or 800? So let's assume out of the 900, 700 naira is used for direct cost. Just an assumption, and we have 700 times 2,000. That will give about 1.4. Let's assume they use 1.2 here. Let's assume 1.2 in the other one. I'm just doing an assumption. Now, in your own case, these should not be assumptions, please. These should not be assumptions, please. You should know the direct cost. So let's assume the total direct cost you spend in all of these areas is 10.6 million. There is a need to also know what is the likelihood of the percentage increase of these things. Next is your salaries. How much are you paying for all of these people? How much is their salary when you add all? Now remember that your salaries falls also under your, what's it called, costing. How much are you spending on salaries? We need to know. Now, your business is meant to pay you salary too. So as the owner of the business, you are also a salary earner. You are also a salary earner as the owner of the business. So you need to be able to show us how much are you paying on salaries throughout. So let's assume we put in 1.5. Again, like I said, in your own, do not do assumptions. How much are you paying for rent? We need to know. Remember that all of these things we are calculating is based on, what's the word now? Yearly income, yearly expenditure. Can you throw more light on direct cost? Okay, yeah, so let me come back to this document here. We'll come back to this. Let me go back to where we had, that wasn't direct cost, no. So when we say direct cost, this is your cost price. We want to know, Madam Helen, please tell me the business you are collecting loan for. Let's use your business. So I can use your business as an example. Do you mind tell us the business you want to collect loan for? I'm waiting. Madam Helen, do you mind tell us the business you are collecting loan for so that we can use that to explain direct cost? Waiting, we have less than an hour to go. We are waiting, Madam Helen. Vegetable and cassava processing. Okay, now for your cassava processing, your direct cost is how much did you buy the cassava? How much did you buy? I don't know anything about Goldsmith, Mr. Abdullahi, I'm sorry. So how much did you buy your cassava? That is part of the cost. One, how much do you use for fueling? I'm assuming the machine you are going to use for grating the cassava, there is fuel involved. How much did you use for fuel? Is part of the direct cost. How much did you use to service that generator? Is part of the direct cost. There are people that will help you peel the cassava. If you don't have a cassava peeler, they are part of the direct cost. The knives and all of those guys that you are using to peel, they are part of your direct cost. The water, there is a cost on it. Now, people always ask, how do I calculate how much I am spending on water since I have already spent money on borehole? That water that you are using, if you use generator to pump your water, so let's say, for example, I use 4 liters of fuel to pump 1,000 liters of water, and that 1,000 liters of water will take me for 1 week. It means that the amount I am spending on water is that the amount I used in buying 4 liters of fuel. So if 4 liters of fuel costs 600 naira, then my water usage weekly is 600 naira. So everything that goes into that cassava to get it from the raw from the supplier to you is direct cost. If you have to pay the driver that brought the cassava, it is direct cost. I don't know if I'm making any sense. If you need to process the cassava to garri and pack the garri inside bag before you can sell, that bag is direct cost. The storage, all of those things, the AC in the storage room is direct cost. I never answers the question. Then your rent, what are the things you are renting? So let's assume your total rent is 300,000. Of course, this is not Abuja kind of rent. We also look at the percentage increase. You should know. Then your utilities, things like your PHCN bill in a year, depending on where your company is, should not be so much. Let's put 30,000 naira. I know some people are shouting, no, where we are is way more than that. Let's assume. This is assumption. Your advertising and marketing. So most people, you use social media. So if you are using social media, you bought data. So let's assume the total data you used in a year is 15,000 naira. Wait, somebody is shouting, no, the data I use in a month is more than 15,000. Remember we said the data that you use for business should be meant for business alone. For the benefit of those that were not around yesterday, I said your business phone should be different from your personal phone. That way, the data that you load into your business phone will be meant only for business so that it can be properly captured in your financials. Now, I also said something yesterday that I understand that you may have started your business when you were using your personal line. And it is possible now that people know your personal line more and not your business line. I said it is okay to receive calls of business on your personal line, but when you want to call back, call with your business line and explain to the customer or to the client that this is my business line. And you must be disciplined enough that when people call you on, when family members decide to call you on your business line to discuss personal issues, say, no, call my other line. Over time, people will understand the difference. I hope that makes sense. Then your administrative. What money do you spend on administration? You buy paper, you buy marker, you buy pencil. Yes, you buy biro. So it's not just a thing of you've bought 10 biros and the biros finished and you threw them away. No, you keep it. Because we need to see where your money is going into. I remember in the era of recharge card, when we still used to use recharge card, in companies that are properly run, during auditing, every recharge card that you buy, you are meant to show the empty, what's it called, card that you scratched for it to be approved. If you cannot show the empty card that was scratched, it is assumed you are owing the company. So the administrative, if you need to buy paper, like now where I am, I have a board, I buy markers regularly, my markers are accounted for. My markers are accounted for. I'm trying to see, I don't know if I'm still, I don't know if you can still see me. Take for instance here, I have markers that have stopped working. I have markers that have stopped working, but I have not thrown them away. Why? I have not done my year has not come to an end yet, the business year, that I would account for how many markers I bought, I used, auditor sees it, then we discard. So these are things that you must take cognizance of. It's not that your official biro, somebody will just come and take and go and throw it away. Let me give an example I'm sure most of us are used to. You notice that they don't even allow you to take away biro from the bank because every biro must be accounted for at the end of the business year or at the end of a quarter. You cannot just say, oh, the customer took away the biro. Then the person sitting there, the staff there has to pay that biro. You can download the financials. Please go to the course page. On the course page, go to this lecture that we are having now. That's business plan. You will see them uploaded there. Just download. They are there. Is it advisable to purchase land from the loan if you are going to start a school business? No, it's not advisable. This is the reason. When you buy land from the loan, the question you should always ask yourself is simple. How long will it take that business to be able to make money to pay back for that loan. We usually advise generally spend money, collect loan money to finance the part of the business that produces money, not the part of the business that does not produce money actively. I hope that makes sense. So let's say administrative, we put 50,000 naira because I want to assume for the, because of the person doing school, so we have to increase it. So let's say 300,000 naira, hopefully. Maintenance, so you have things like you have generator, you spend money on maintaining. You have anything that requires maintenance. Your school has ACs that require monthly maintenance. All the maintenance you are going to do in a year, let's put it at 150,000. Insurance. I know most of us don't do insurance. Fishman should insure. I don't know if hairdressers do insurance. I don't know if schools do insurance. So let's assume insurance is usually about 2%, 3%, usually not much. So 2% of 2 million, 10% will be 100. So that's about, is it 20,000, if I'm not wrong? Then transport. How much is your business spending on transport? Let's say 400, it may be more than that. Then subscription or licenses. So what this means is in your kind of business, are there license you must pay for annually? For example, I know hairdressers have hairdresser association. I don't know if you pay for license per year. I don't know. Fish people have an association. I think schools too should have an association. So let's assume for all of them is 10,000 per annum with increases. So like we said, utilities cover things like your electricity, water, gas, internet, telephone, the go, everything should be there. So we have done all of this. So we've captured this. Next is for those of us that are startup, here are the startups. You buy fuel every day. Yes, so the fuel that you buy every day, calculate what you need in a year. It is under utilities. It is under utilities. So calculate the total fuel you will need in a year. I remember before there was a time we were spending about some good amount on fuel to run farm. You know, I'm a farmer. So startup costs. So where are the startup people? Let's come to your own area. Now, please, let me say this. You don't need to fill every space. If there are spaces that does not apply to your business, skip it. You don't need to fill every space. If there are areas that do not apply to your business, you skip it. I hope that makes sense. Startup cost. So your startup cost, this is the cost that you incur in the process of setting up your business. So for example, I don't know which of these people is a startup. Is there any of us that is a startup among the three businesses that we can use? Anybody that is a startup? So let's assume as you are starting up, let's put 0 for land, but you need to get a building. So let's say your rent for your building is, let's say because it's in a bit of a good area, 600,000 naira. Furnitures and fitting. You buy a chair, you buy a table, you buy, let's just put 300. So, equipment and machinery. So let's say the equipment that you need to start, let's put 3M for you. Vehicles, I don't expect you as a startup, unless you are doing internet and all of those things, blah, blah, blue and all of that. Let's say you spend another 100,000 naira on that. So let me try to minimize this. Now, take note that as you fill, it has automatically reflected this in your year one by default. Now, it is already automatically telling you that in your year 4, there is a need to reinvest on your equipment 4.7 million. You don't need to fill all these parts. It is telling you how your asset needs to be replaced. Because after 4 years from your baseline, we assume that the asset has depreciated. Then if you still look at it, let's go, what's the next one? Furnitures and fitting. we assume your furnitures and fitting, they will no longer be too good after 6 years. So in the 7th year, automatically, it is already telling you, you should be budgeting that in the 7th year, you are going to spend 663,000 naira. And somebody is thinking, how did it know all of these things? Because you have filled percentages here already. Where are we? Then it's already telling you that in the 8th year, because we expect your business to be growing, as you grow, remember you told it, your business will grow in various percentages. So you are going to be investing 7-point-something million 8 years from now. That's what we are telling you. Now, we are also telling you that in 10 years, everything being equal, your internet facilities should need upgrade at 310,000 naira, where you started with 100,000. Yes, you are still applying as a startup. You are a startup since you are using your business name. Although by the time they check your financials, they will realize that you have been dormant, that you've not been working with the account. Now, next is our opening inventory. So your opening inventory is how much do you need to buy your initial stock to start? Remember, we are talking about people who are startups. So if you are not a startup, please, you don't need to do anything about this area. Just keep it. These are for startup. So how much do you need to start your business, to buy your opening inventory? If you are going to be buying, if you are a pharmacist, for example, that needs to buy drugs to sell, how much do you need to start? So let's assume the amount I need to start, let's say 1 million naira. This is an assumption. Oops, I put 10 million naira mistakenly. 1, 2, 3, I hope my math is correct. 1 million naira, okay. You need to tell us how many months that will last. If you don't have, Madam Helen, if you don't have a business name or a company name, then you're applying with your name. That's what it means. You apply with your name. So for a car dealer, I am not sure which area you are applying money for car dealer, because the maximum amount you can loan is 10 million. I'm not sure how many cars 10 million we give to you if you are using car, but if you are going to be using the whole money to import the cars, then you state the opening inventory. So let's assume everything you are buying will take 2 months. Then initial working capital is how much do you need to be running the business? You need to pay salary. You need to buy fuel. You need to buy something in the company. You need to pay for something. You need to buy, do you understand? The money you are going to be spending while you are running your business. No, I think I've corrected it to 1 million. I've corrected it to 1 million, Madam Patricia, thank you. So your initial working capital, for example, could be transportation is on its own. If you come up, somebody says transportation utility bill, no. Transportation is on its own, it's a bill on its own. So let's assume the initial working capital to pay salaries is about 400,000. No, 400 initial 200 for everything. 200,000, and that would take me for 3 months. That would take me for 3 months. Now, what is my contingency in case something happens that I did not plan for? Let's say 50,000. Let's say 50,000. So now, based on what I have filled in before, what the system is automatically telling me is what I really need as a startup is about 5.25 M to start. So as a startup, you may not even know everything that you need. But if you fill these areas honestly, if you fill it honestly, the system will automatically calculate what you should actually apply for loan. If you fill honestly, not the one that you do GPT filling. If you fill, yes, about 10% of everything, so it's already calculated automatically for you. In your own case, if you say, no, me, I want to put 5%, fine. It's left to you. I want to put 15%, left to you. Okay. So let's come back here. So we are done with that. Next is we want to look at your staff, the people working for you. What is, we talked under the other one, we talked about, thank you, Dr. Johnson. We talked about your percentage for salary. If you remember, let's go back so that, here, remember under this, we had percentage for direct labor. We already know what it is. We already know the percentage of direct labor. So that's why I started with this document, because you realize that we are doing a back and forth between them. If you've already filled that, honestly, this is simple. Your opening inventory, again, is for a startup business. For a startup business, how much do you need to buy the things that you need if you are a startup business? So the percentage of salary. So how much is the total money you are spending on salary in an annum? Let's assume we put 1.5 M as an assumption. Is that 1.5 I wrote? Okay. So number of employees, we want to know. How many employees, senior management, your senior management. So these are your chief executive officer, chief operating officer, chief financial officer. Now remember that most of us are sole proprietors, so the number most likely will be 1. For some of us, it could be 2. Now, what is your total annual salary? So let's assume you give yourself 100,000 naira per month. Because the whole 1.5 is gone. Let's assume, this is an assumption, though, so nobody will come for me and like, the salary is too much, it's too small. If you pay yourself 50,000 naira per month, it means in a year, the total money is 600,000 naira in a year. Did I calculate that well? 600,000 naira in a year, yes. So based on this, where are we? Okay. Based on this, total salary and benefit for senior management staff, it will calculate the total amount. So in year 1, the total amount you will pay now to be 630. The percentages, now the reason the percentages are increasing is because, let's come back to salaries. Remember here, we put percentage increase. So the percentage increment that you have written here is what the system is using to calculate every other thing for you. The reason why these ones are showing as that is because the figures are too many. So it would automatically compute. I hope this makes sense. Next, we have business development, number of employees you have here, their annual salary. So any segment that you have people, do you have sales and customer people? You state their number, and where is it? You state their number. So let's imagine you have 1 here. You have 1 here. If you pay them, for some weird reason, 20,000 per month, times 12, that would be 240. And here would be another 240. So again, it will automatically calculate based on the percentage increase we have written above. If you have marketing staff, you write the same thing. If you have IT staffs, you write the same thing. I'm trying to rush so that we can take questions. Back office staff. Does it mean that a startup should not fill the first part, which is growth retain section? When you say growth, you mean here? No, you are still going to fill it. That is why this whole area is an assumption. Once you feel growth and you feel startup, we already know it's an assumption you are making. If you don't feel startup, then we need to check your history of your business to be sure what you are saying tallies with what you are telling us. Next is your revenue. So basically, okay, sorry, I think I skipped. Next is your operating cost. We want to know how much money are you spending on raw materials directly. So for example, the cassava woman, your direct raw material is cassava. So again, remember we are just doing assumptions. Let's say we put in, per annum, let's say you spend for the fishman, your direct raw materials for the fishman will be fingerlings, if I'm not wrong. So you spend money on fingerlings. So let's say you spend about 300,000 to buy the fingerlings you use in a year. So it automatically fills the rest based on percentage increase that you have already given us before. Then how much do you spend on direct labor? So direct labor, let's say, I know we filled this before, but I don't want to be going up and down. 400, it will fill that up. Then how much are you spending on factory overheads? So your factory overhead are things that like your electricity, your rent. Now people always ask, how do I calculate my rent if I paid for 2 years? For your annual, just divide your 2 years rent by 2. So if you've paid a rent of 5 years, divide it by 5 to get how much you are spending per year. So let's say you put another 200, then inbound transport, which means how much do you spend on getting those raw materials to you in the company? A crop farmer, the crop farmer, your direct raw material, the seeds you are buying, I'm sure you bought seed, you bought fertilizers. These are raw materials. Let that answer the question. Inbound transport. So how much did you spend to transport those things? So let's put 40,000 as an example. So we are done with that. Now, because we skipped a whole lot, your salary is supposed to come automatically. Your salary is a fixed cost. Your rents are fixed costs. These are things that don't change annually. So let's assume, I think we put 1.5 M here before. Your utility, your insurance, basically these are fixed because we assume they don't change per annum. Now, when we come here, your revenue. What is your monthly sales volume? We want to know. So for the man selling 2,000 fishes a year, if we divide that by 50, I think we did 53, or was it 52? I can't remember, 38. So 38 times 4. So let's assume you sell 152. Then your price, how much we sell? We say we sell, was it 700 or 800? I can't remember. Please do not forget the figures you gave. Because if you lied, realize that the same question is asked at 900. Oh, thank you very much, sir. So we filled 900. The same questions are being asked again and again in different forms. So once you lie, there will be a whole lot of, what is it called now? Inconsistencies. And you are going to be seeing a whole lot of hashtag like this, showing lies have been coming in. Next, this is the good part. We know that your sales may not remain the same all year round. So is there seasonality in your production? Let me take this in. I hope you can know that's too tiny for me. So is there seasonality in what you do? If yes, what is your monthly sales volume per month? What is your monthly sales volume per month? If you are project for a startup, you should be able to project. So for example, the person selling fish, it is possible in December that you sell more in December. Now here, notice that this has been filled automatically then. Next is, let's go back. What is the percentage of sales revenue realized? So for example, maybe January, the percentage you realized was 30%. You fill it in. It automatically adjusts. Remember that yesterday, I think that was yesterday's class, one of the facilitators, I think that in Abidjan was explaining something that there is a need to know that there are times you sell something in January that you are paid in February. So that revenue will be calculated for February. So maybe in February, it increased to 70% to make up for the one you sold in January. Now, for everything that there was seasonality, you can explain. Maybe, for example, you would say, oh, for this year, using this year, from March, there was COVID-19. So because of that, I only had 5%. It's an example. Again, COVID-19. COVID-19. So I had reduction to even 3%. It was now worse. Again, COVID-19. However, I am projecting that in December, I am going to have 100% increase. Why? Because of Christmas. Let's spell that way, Christmas. So you realize that we want to know. Don't just tell us there was an increase or there was a decrease. In a year, what are the things you are predicting? We are not saying it must be accurately correct, but we want to know how well you understand that business. These are the things that will be represented. Now, see, from these little things that I filled now, you see, it has automatically drawn a map. Okay, let's try and fill everything. COVID-19, even if we cannot do for all the businesses. COVID-19, I think it was eased in June. So let's just say COVID-19. So here, let's write.
Sorry,
yes,
sorry for the interruption. Farmer Sampson,
yes,
please try and round up so that we'll give room for questions and then the students can go for a short break before the next facilitator.
All right. So let me rush.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So let's say after COVID-19, you had 30%, then it became 40% coming up, then it became 50, just trying to rush, this became 60, and this became 70, and Christmas period, the thing went boom. So you look at, when we look at, based on what you have filled, I can look at your seasonality trend and say, I know this business was profitable at the beginning, but because of COVID-19, everything went down. However, there is a recovery trajectory, and in December, it is going to go back up. But I know that in January, it will come back down and probably remain around this level of September and so on and so forth. So that is why we want to understand. So for all the product or services that you list, we are going to do the same thing step by step. Then next is your working capital. So your working capital is, we want to know under working capital, your receivable days, which means when you sell your product or you sell your service or you perform your service, how long does it take? How many days passes before your, customer pay you for the service? If no day passes, if it is pay as you shop, it is 0. But if your kind of business, it will take 3 weeks, then you convert it to days, that's 3 times 27, 21 days. Then your payable days is the average number of days it takes you to pay your supplier. So for example, somebody paid you somebody gave you cassava. Do you pay for the cassava immediately that you are going to process, or does it take you 6 weeks? Convert it to days. So let's say, for example, you have 14 days grace period. For the person that owns a school, payable days is your teachers, people that supply you markers, all of that, it must be up to 100. Are you collecting loan to start? So I was trying to explain your equity, grant, debt. So personal savings, are you adding your money? What percentage of the money? What percentage of your money are you adding? Grants, I said, is whatever money that you are given because the person or organization supports your dream and you are not paying back. Equity means the person is giving you money for a percentage or shares in your company. Debt is money you have to pay back, like the one from NISA. So equity financing.
Your speaker is not connected.
So other equity financing, their injection, how much they are bringing in and all of that. I want to jump that. So your debt facility. So how much money are you collecting? How much money are you collecting the loan? How much are you borrowing? So for example, from here, it has automatically filled 2625 based on what you have filled from the beginning, how much you are supposed to borrow. So if you need a second one, a third one, you fill how much you are borrowing, your repayment period in years, when the loan will end and all of that. Then the debts, what's the word? Now, all of these parts, don't worry, from here, the schedules downwards will be automatically sorted for you by the system. Now, take note that we only filled assumptions. If you take time to fill everything, all of these places will be filled up let me make it smaller, will be automatically filled up for you. So your balance sheet will be automatically filled up. Your cash flow, because we jumped a whole lot of places, that's why this is like this. It will help you calculate your tax automatically. It will give a summary of your business. Remember that when we started, all of these graphs were empty. So the system will automatically help you fill up all the rest. So we can look at, because we've not filled up everything, the system has already told us that based on your cash flow, this business is not worth investing in. You can see the way the arrow goes down. In 10 years, this person is bankrupt. So this business is not worth investing in. So this is what the system will automatically do if you correctly fill your financial assumptions. Okay, so any question? That's the end of that. Once you fill out, okay, I think we didn't finish the, sorry, let me finish this in 2 minutes. So we stopped at financials. We stopped at financials. That was number 11. Then number 12, your name, the way that we can easily identify, the way you can be identified with a registered, with a government issued ID card. So the national ID card, your permanent voter's ID card, your international passport, or your driver's license. These are the 4 forms of identification means accepted. So your ID card has a special identification number. You feel that if you belong to any trade association, you have to tell us. Then why we customers prefer you, you need to let us know. This is your value proposition. How do you intend to advertise your product? The good news is on the NISA portal, the options are given. So, okay, why will customers prefer you? Is it because you have a better product, or you have no competition, or you have a lower price, or you have superior quality, or you have more options that the customers can pick from? We want to know. How do you intend to advertise your product? Is it radio? Is it print media? Is it social media? Is it TV? Is it word of mouth or any other nature? Let us know. What if you want to start with one product or service as a startup? Do you need all the? Yes, if you have more than one product, everything has to be listed. And remember, I said, you cannot say you want to do cassava and transportation. They are in 2 different sectors. It won't flow. You cannot say you want to do cassava and jewelries. 2 different sectors. It won't flow. You cannot even say you want to do cassava processing and fish rearing. They are 2 different areas. That's why in agriculture you realize there is crop, there is aquaculture. So it has to be the same area, the same value chain. I hope that makes sense. Next is, how do you intend to sell your product? How do you intend to sell your product? Very important. Are you selling and marketing by your own team? Is it online sales at delivery? Is it via a third party? Or do you have your own outlets? Or are you going to do it through indirect sales via distributors or agents or shops? Or are you exporting? I know some of us say we want to do export. Then next is, do public holidays affect your product? You should know. So for example, the woman that wants to do hairdressing, I think during public holiday, your hairdressing business gets better. So for some people, public holiday, like the woman that wants to do school, public holiday means school does not come, people do not come to school. Then next is specify your product cycle. Is it once every 2 years? Like the people for school is once every year. For poultry, I don't know how poultry works. Then you should know how many cycles you can have in a year. Then next is your sales 1 year forecast. Then what kind of increment do you see? Is it increment every year, every 6 months, every 3 months, or every month? Then enter the average number. I think we've done this. All right, so thank you so much.